Okay, here we go. Let's take a minute or so and just look at this guy's chart. So check this out. This guy has an interesting chart. Okay, so Mercury is retrograde. Okay, so they picked the guy up right at Mercury retrograde. Like right before. They were following him, and they picked him up and arrested him right at Mercury retrograde. That astrologically, that's not good. Astrologically, that's he's gonna get away. What are you doing? Why don't you go like 2 days earlier or 1 day earlier or something? But astrologically, being, you know, whatever, I don't want to use the wrong word. I don't want to say arraigned, arrested, detained, other words that have the "ained" in it. I don't know. I'm not a cop, and I'm not one who gets hanging out with us. So but that thing, it began under Mercury retrograde. So man, that's astrologically sketchy right there. Okay, so just warning you guys, I made a joke out of it during the video where I said they keep attacking Donald Trump under the Mercury retrograde and he keeps escaping. But with this guy, it's not a joke. So that's the deal, very seriously. All right, next. Okay, next. Let's look at his chart. So here's something. So when we look at his chart's on the inside. The murder date is on the outside. And you can see. So what you don't see in his chart, right? Like, what do you see in his chart? What looks like it could cause someone to be a mass murderer here? Like, what could cause that amount of stress? Because when you look at it, does he really have that much tension in his chart? Like, really? Is the guy a mass murderer, right? Is he, like, was he training to be a serial killer? Like, was that what he was doing? Like, was he training to be a serial killer? Or was he super triggered? Like, is he, like, is that the deal? All right, so as I'm looking at this guy's chart, I'll point out some stuff that may or may not be super obvious, sort of. So you don't necessarily see things like suicide in this guy's chart, and you don't see necessarily traditional kind of, it's not traditional. He doesn't have, he has a tension in his chart, but it's, I'll show you. let me just stop going. I'll show you. So first off, his sun is conjunct Pluto. Something is happening about his identity. Now, Pluto means wherever, now I don't have his birth time. So when I don't have a birth time, I set a chart up a particular way so that it's easier for you guys to see what's going on. So hopefully it helps, but we'll see. So his Pluto is right on top of his sun. So he highlights this death and transformation. He resonates with undercover stuff. He resonates with endings. He resonates with pain. He resonates with transformations. There's a possibility he could, like, that's what he resonates with. In addition to that, like, he has a little stellium, so it's unofficial, like stellium tends, there's a definition about not including certain things, but like whatever. He has, like, this is all kind of conjunct Juno, and which is what it's Juno represents. This guy that, like, looks like this hairy head guy. It represents some of the things you're looking for in a partner. Jupiter, the gray one, indicates very big, spiritual, and it tends to make things big and blow things up. So he has the potential in this chart to become very famous. Like, seriously, like, Jupiter is conjunct the sun, right? He should become very popular. But he can also become somewhat, and I don't know him as a thing, and I haven't heard him speak. Okay, so I just know what I've read from you guys, right? Just following along, just like everyone else. But in this, it says he can be an maniacal guy. He can be a bit of an egomaniac. He can be a bit of a me kind of person. He can be very popular, somewhat larger than life figure. He could be, fairly spiritual. It's all in Scorpio, guys. So he has, so he wants to uncover the truth. So this, like, the Scorpio is known as the detective of the zodiac. So to find out what he's studying, criminals, right? Studying death, studying criminals, studying, like, that's very Scorpio. Like, that's what Scorpio does. That's what Scorpio does. And so, like, and that's where all, like, he has a massive stellium right there. So it's not surprising to see him be interested in that kind of stuff, in detective work and forensics and the psychology behind it. It's very Scorpio, especially with his Mercury there, right? He's interested in thinking about things in a Scorpio way. But, so he's interested in death. He's interested in the occult. He might be a fan. Like, probably not. So, like, whatever, man. So the he's interested in the occult, right? He's interested in finding out the truth about things. He's interested in death and transformation. If he didn't go into that, he'd probably go into something like medicine. Like, he might go into medicine. But anyways, he's gone and he's done what he's done. Now, so here we can have a lot of popularity, but we also have Pluto there, which means he's going to be preoccupied with transformation and digging and uncovering things. On top of that, we have this here, Mercury conjunct the North Node. So that's going to bring his ideas. He's going to have some crazy bananas ideas. So the North Node, it exaggerates things. And Mercury, but it exaggerates things without reason. And so he's going to have his ideas be like these really big ideas, and he's going to want his way. So whatever he's doing, he's going to very much think he's right. Guys, got that? So he thinks he's right no matter what, whether he's right or wrong. His Mercury is out of control. The negative side of Mercury is out of control. Some of the other negative sides of Mercury, being a little bit of a bullshitter, that's the other side of Mercury. I didn't think that when I was watching his story, or hearing people talk about it on the internet. I didn't really think that he's a bullshitter. I don't really know anything about it. But like this chart here, he has bullshitting in his chart, just to let you guys know. He also has people talking about him behind his back. He does things in secret. See, all of this stuff is done more or less in secret. In addition to that, holy smokes, man. So this guy does have mental banana problems, legitimate, honest to goodness, brain mental banana problems. In addition to that, the guy also has girl problems. I don't know if anyone mentioned that. This guy's got girl problems. His Venus is retrograde in Scorpio. This guy's probably has the hairiest palms you'll ever see. He's probably, you look at the guy and go, oh, damn, that guy's half werewolf. Or like, it only gets hairy at nighttime, though. It's really weird. It's like, oh, that's how werewolves work, right? Okay, whatever, man. So, I'm not an expert in the werewolf thing. All right, so this is what's going on. So the guy has problems. So the guy obviously has girl problems. He might have money problems too. That Venus retrograde is going to bring girl problems and it's going to bring money problems. So he's going to have both of those. He has mental banana problems. That's a legit thing. And that's the deal, you know? What else is going on in this chart? I mean, if you fold the chart, like if you're a vibrational astrologer, which I'm not. Hey, Helene, I hope you have a wonderful night. So I'm not a vibrational astrologer, but they'd probably say something like that Mars is making an aspect to his Chiron when you fold them together, and they're making aspects down here as well. And there's, you know, you're going to see Mars with Chiron, you know, Uranus, sudden and unexpected end of life or wound or thing happening like that. Like you might say that if you're a vibrational astrologer, you might. If you're like SunnySide astrologer like me, you're going to say some interesting things. So you want to look at this chart and see what's going on here, right? Like his movement is going to be unexpected. It's going to be erratic, and he's going to have erratic forms of communication. What did you say, Sonny, that he's going to jail just looking at this guy's chart? I'll tell you guys, I'll be honest with the reading here. Here, let's put it together. So we don't really have his birth time, okay? But if we're 28 Scorpio, 28 Sagittarius, right, is the first house. 28 Scorpio is the first house. Then Sagittarius to 28 Capricorn is the second house. Then the third house is going to be to 28 Aquarius. Okay, guys, not Pisces. It's going to be to 28 Aquarius. Now, so that's the deal here. So we can't, so in this situation, Saturn is transiting right now to cause restriction in his movement. Like that does cause jail time right now in his chart transiting. So he has to watch out for it. He definitely does. But in his natal chart, what he has is Saturn is not there. Saturn's in the fourth house, indicating that he would have had problems with his parents. Like one of his parents might be a massive control freak. Maybe his parents were divorced for some reason. Maybe he only grew up with one of his parents. I think his parents are together. So I don't know what the frig this is saying, but like this says there's a problem at home. Like this says there was a problem at home. Okay, that's the deal. Saturn there right now transiting is saying his movement is going to be restricted. Pluto over here says he has money problems. Right, that's the deal. He's not getting paid for his work. That's what this chart here actually says, without speculating or making anything up. That's what it says. In addition to all of that, I'm going to tell you right now, whatever situation that he went through, this situation began months and months ago. And I mean, Pluto at 28 degrees, Pluto was making an aspect to his sun earlier on in the year. And Pluto went retrograde. So when Pluto went retrograde, that pain went backwards and they thought about it. And then when Pluto went forward, that's what, there you go. So something from the past has come back. Like this, I would imagine, I don't think is a typical situation. I don't think this is random. In addition to that, he's going through, he's going through the one thing I tell you guys constantly that you have to watch out for. He's going through his node opposition right now. This means, and I say to you guys all the time, you guys could get very sick at this time period. This guy's probably going to jail. This guy, probably killed some people during this period. You could get sick during this time period. You have to watch out for it. You have to watch out for it. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm telling you guys, he's going through it. All right, let's get back to his natal chart. So that's what, so honestly, he didn't, that's what's going on here. So this is unexpected communication. This is his movement is erratic, right? That's what it is. So that's what that is. Up here, this is very public, right? This is, he gets into He gets into very public confrontations. He has a problem with authority figures. There's a strong possibility that he ran away from home. Right? And he fights in public. Like you yell and scream, you fight in public, run away from home, problems with authority figures, but they didn't have a record of him. So he doesn't have problems with authority figures. And I don't know if he ran away from home or not. So, oh, you're a Scorpio. Hey, Em, yeah, you understand the association with the occult and being the detective and all that stuff. Yeah, very Scorpio. All right. So one of the things you would expect, right? So if you new to astrology, you'd expect to see lots of squares in this guy's chart. Like, whoa, he's under a lot of tension. But he doesn't actually have a lot of squares. He has a bunch of stuff that's loose, that's loosely thrown together, some loose associations, but not necessarily enough to really shake things crazy, So Saturn comes into play sort of at 5 degrees, but not really, not the way I do astrology. So I don't know. It's a tough one. The guy has a tricky thing. This guy has an interesting chart. What else is going on? He might have had health problems. Okay, so he does have a little bit of, guys, have I told you this before? How many times? The North Node in the 12th house, it's going to lead to mental health problems, depression. I say it all the time. So right now, the North Node is in Taurus, right? So I say to Geminis, watch out for mental health problems. Watch out for isolation. Watch out for feeling alone. This guy's got mental health problems, man. Like, he really does. It's so easy to just say that, point at things and say that. But I'll tell you, this, the North Node conjunct Mercury is going to give him weird ideas. He's going to be very forceful in his ideas. It's behind the scenes, right? So you get some crazy ideas behind the scenes. Venus is retrograde. He's going to have problems with chicks, and he's going to have problems with his money. Mars is in Leo, so the guy's dramatic. It's like violent and dramatic. It's really funny. Except that he killed people. It's not that funny. And that's the deal. His moon is in Cancer, so he's obviously has sweaty eyeballs, But but before we move on and leave this, I want to show you guys something. You would think that his moon would be square something, right? You would think it would be a square, but it's not. It's nice and trine, right? It's nice and flowing. You would think Saturn would be square, all of this stuff, but it's not. It's nice and flowing, right? Right? It's all flowing. You'd think Mars would be square everything. Well, it is. Okay, Mars is square everything, but squaring Jupiter is not a big deal. Unless you go out of control, Mars not really doing anything. So, it's the big deal. Mars is in conjunct with this. His behavior is erratic. So, yeah, he's not. He doesn't have. I don't think he has the typical markings that you would see. But he has some stuff that you would definitely you could imagine seeing, and that's the deal. Why did he go crazy? You guys, should I look and see why he went crazy? Or is he a loner? Yeah, he looks like a loner. If you look at the chart, he looks like a loner. He looks like a loner and a guy who does things in secret. But the secret, I'm not making it up. Secret, right? All 12th house behind the sun. Secret. Where was his stress? He was fighting in relationships. The more I look at this thing, on one hand, I want to say serial killer. I'm not really seeing serial killer. I'm kind of seeing bad relationship, right? Mars is right there. Just to let you guys know, Mars is not in the 7th house. Mars in Gemini. Guys, Mars, I'll tell you guys something right before we cruise out here. The way this chart's set up is a little deceptive. Fudge. So what we're going to have is, anyways, this Mars here, Mars in Gemini, that Mars is going to lead towards death. Imagine he has Mars transiting retrograde in his 8th house. He's going to kill somebody. So Mars retrograde in your 8th house. Mars retrograde 8th house of death. Okay, so he has it in his chart, man. All right, next.